Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at some tools. These tools are going to be ones that, when I bought them, I thought I would use them a lot more than I actually do. Some of them are better than others. Let's take a look at this first one, which is sold as an E-clip insertion and removal tool. You can see each blade is sized for different size E-clips. And it has two ends to it, one for inserting the clip and one for removing it. This would be the removal end right here. And I'll show you how that works here in just a second. The handle it's designed pretty decent. I mean, it's got a little release on it, and you can pop the blade in and out of there real nice, and it holds it well. Works pretty good. But the tool itself may be a little clumsy. I'm trying to insert an E-clip, and like I said, it's a little clumsy. But it does it. A needle nose pliers works better, but whatever. Let's see about removing the E-clip. The tool itself is well built. The actual use of it is not so great. I mean, I could pop that off of there with a screwdriver a lot easier than this removal tool. And all it does is break it free. You still got to pop it out like you would with a screwdriver. So you can see that's a tool I thought I would get a lot of use out of, but I mean, this is the first time I've used it in probably 2 years, was to make this video. So let's move on to the next one. This is a set of snap-on extractors. They're spiral extractors. The day that I bought this, I actually had a use for this tool, and that was a few years ago. I haven't used it since. Well, it's a nice set, though. I mean, it goes from, I think this first one's 1/8 inch. I have to apologize for the camera use here. I'm using a new camera, and I did not realize that it didn't focus when I got this close. I'm sure it's on me and not on the camera. So the sizes go all the way up to, I believe, 7/8 of an inch right here.
7/8.
It is a high quality tool. You got to have a use for it, right? And I haven't found many uses for it. I thought I was going to be able to use it like if I stripped out a Torx head screw, that I could use this bit to back the screw out. Well, I haven't got myself in that situation in a while. These pliers, these are Mac, I don't know if they call them bent nose or what they call them. They were on sale. Seemed like a good deal. And that meant they don't get used. I don't know. It doesn't feel natural to me. I'm sure some of you have them pliers and use them all the time. Not so much for me. This tool probably should go in the category of I don't use it very often, but when I need it, it's very handy. It's a wire insertion tool, and you can see the handle is hollow, and then it has these different sized, let's call them bits, and these bits are hollow tubes with a sharp end on them. And the idea is, if you're doing if you want to insert a wire through, say, a firewall, a rubber boot, something like that, this tool will poke a hole in that rubber boot and give you a place to feed the wire through. And it works very well. So if you're an upfitter, if you install snow plows or stereo systems or alarm systems or remote starters, this might work for you. Now you can see how I'm twisting the tool to go through the cardboard. But on a rubber boot, you would just want to push it straight through the boot. and it would kind of leave more of a slot than a hole. So once you have pushed it through the boot, you got a couple of choices. You could go through the handle, or you could remove the handle like I did here, push the wire through the boot, and then just remove the tool. So now your wire is passing through the rubber boot, the flywheel, the grommet, whatever you're passing it through. Another way to do it might be to push it through the boot and then feed the wire from the other side, and then just remove the tool. There you go. I mean, it seems a little over the top, but I mean, there are a lot of situations where this just works out very nice. So here's a couple of tools I've had for a long time that I use occasionally, but I thought I would use them all the time. This one here is a 1/4-inch drive flex extension. And as it turns out, you know, I just don't use it that often. Ball end Torx sockets or not wobble extensions, I guess, work. I haven't found myself getting into a situation where I really needed this flex extension that much. And as for the ratchet, I really hate that ratchet. I don't like the way the head spins around on there. It just doesn't work for me. It's a backup ratchet if one of my other ones goes down. This is a handy tool. It's a magnetic nut holder, and it clamps onto a wrench. I thought I would use it a lot more than I do. You know, some guys will take a piece of tape and wrap it around the end of the wrench and then stick the nut in the open end and reach the wrench in where they got to go. Well, this kind of does the same thing, but with a magnet. So you clip it onto the wrench, just like this. And now if you set a nut in there, it'll hold it. And it works good. I just don't have a big need for it. Luckily, that wasn't a very expensive tool, so I'm not out that much. Again, I thought I'd use it a lot more than I do. We'll just set that one off to the side. The next one we have is this handle. Let me know in the comments if you know right away what this is. So I don't remember if it's advertised as a holder for Sawzall blades or for hacksaw blades. It seems to clamp on either one halfway decent. But having to use one of these blades by hand doesn't come up nearly as often as I thought it would when I saw it all shiny sitting there on the truck. There you go. I don't use that one very often. Here's another one I don't use very often. Stubby wrenches. This particular set of wrenches, standard and metric, has been in my toolbox or in different versions of my toolbox for over 30 years. And if you look real close at these wrenches, some of them don't look like they have ever been used. Some of them have a little bit of wear on them. Now, does that mean that they really were plated well, or I just don't use them that often? And the case is, I just don't use them that often. Some of the guys in the shop know that I have them, and if they need a stubby wrench, they grab them. And I would argue that most of this wear is from other people than it is from me. It's just not something that I need very often. But we're going to do another video similar to this. It's going to be tools that I don't use very often, but if I didn't have them, I'd be in a world of hurt. So that's all I'm going to have for you on the tools out of my box that I thought were a good idea. Turns out I could live without them. Thanks for watching. Later. you missed that one.